everything you say, risk management. I'm an OSHA compliance officer as well. So I go into
Oh,
factories and deal with safety. So other than that, I've been playing Bad Blood since I believe 2017 was the first time, if I remember. And then the pandemic hit and didn't play a couple of years there, but have played since then. And then was a platoon leader last year, so I've had some fun filling in for Clayton this year.
okay. Well, if you do a great job, you may, if you so choose, you could stay on.
Fair enough.
All right. Thanks, Doc. And last but not least, at least for now, Cardelos.
Hey guys, good. I'm all unmuted right now. Yeah, so I am a low voltage electrician in the Garden State. I'm a father of two little ones that take up most of my time, and in my free time, I have to keep it to close hobby. So airsoft has taken a big hit recently. So this is like my game this year. Hopefully, in the coming years, I'll get to get more games, but this is my fun day, a fun weekend.
Well, it may be a few years. Just speaking
Yeah.
from a relatively new dad, I thought I'd be able to play more airsoft, but as they get older, until they can actually play with me, yeah, I've played far less airsoft than I thought I was going to. All right, so gentlemen, uh, thank you for joining us, and for those of you who are trying to get on here, again, I have to apologize. I've got a starter account here with Restream, so I'm maxed out at 5 guests. I didn't realize that, so um, I appreciate you giving blocking out your time. But at the very least, please stay on watching, and you could answer some of any of the questions that come up in the chat, because really this is what the point of doing these live stream Q&As is, to be able to answer a lot of the questions that the players have, because there are quite a few new players, and of course even some of the players who've come from previous years may not know, or oops, whoa, what happened there? May have some questions about the game, that nuances of the game they didn't quite grasp the first time playing, and or there could be some new changes. So with that, let's go over some of the new changes um, that we have for this year, because that's going to be significant. And I am not sure how to bring up, how, if I can share a screen. Oh, there it is. I can see it, but let's see how that will work. Um, but as I'm working on that, we'll go from memory. We were talking about one of the key changes this year is going to be moving over from FPS to joules,
Right.
uh, and unfortunately, last week none of us really were HPA experts, because a lot of this actually stems from the greater use of HPA type guns in airsoft, coming from especially with milsim. And one of the things that came up from a lot of milsim producers, they discovered that the energy that was being produced by the HPA guns could actually be much higher than our traditional sort of FPS measurements. So a gun that could chrono with a lighter BB, say a 20 or zero point 0.2 or 0.25 that we usually use. Actually, if you were using a heavier weight BB, and I'm still not quite clear on the whole physics of it, but you know, by the velocity of the air and the size of the BB, you're actually delivering far more energy with a heavier BB, even though it's traveling at a slower FPS. So, uh, if anybody you want to correct me on all this, the gist of it is we're revising how we're measuring the kind of guns that and replicas that people bring in it, and ultimately it's about safety and enjoyment overall for people, because nobody wants to get lit up with really hard hitting guns, hard hitting BBs. So we're actually complying with a lot of the standardization that's going on with a lot of milsim games out there. So we are switching over to the Joule rating. We'll be using our own staff, our own game BBs, which will be supplied by EVIC. We'll be using 0.32 BBs to measure that, and we'll recalibrate all of our chronograph machines. But that just something that you need to be aware of. Yeah, you can find charts on there because most people, hopefully, you have some way to chrono your. You should definitely chrono your weapons before. Whoa, okay, Cardelis, I'm gonna have to mute you, Cardelis, or ask you to mute. Just
I muted myself actually, so.
Oh, it's still coming through. But I'm not sure why that's still.
And then I'm sitting there on the toilet like this. And I'm like,
oh, and I'm hearing somebody talking about
Who
a
is
toilet.
sitting on a toilet?
I'm like, I need to write a
Ian, is that your home?
Oh no. Okay, so.
That's so funny. All right, I'll be right.
Okay. All right. I think I fixed it. So what I didn't realize was Buck was also part of the stream, but he's not. His face is not actually on there, but we're getting audio from him. I was wondering, where is that coming from?
So we can hear Buck, but we can't see him.
Correct. I think that's how it works. I don't know how I can.
All right.
He's not there actually. We're just hearing background. And
let's go back to the jewels thing, because I've seen this question a few times, especially the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are reading the player packet, good on you. They're seeing that we are going to be using the 0.32 gram BBs for chrono, and their question is always coming up as, well, is that what I have to use? No, use whatever you want,
as long as it's bio
heavier, lighter, doesn't matter, as long as they're bio BBs. That's just what we're going to be using for initial measurement of everybody. So it's all uniform, like we do every single year when we used to do it with 2.5s. Everybody's using 2.5s for chrono, but then whatever you want to use for the game, that's up to you. As long as they're bio BBs, we really don't care. Because I know HPA, they like to use much heavier BBs for the for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not an HPA guy. I have nothing against it, just not for me. But they, I know some of them go up to like 4.8s and stuff. The crazies who are, going to be using sniper rifles, they want to use heavier. So yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. But just know that, we're going to be using 3.2s. So if you need to do a quick hop up adjustment so you're feeding right, just keep that in mind. That's all.
Yeah. So, and of course, make sure whatever BBs you bring are bio BBs. It's really the main restriction that the field has, and that's totally understandable. Before we go on to the next question or the next topic, I just want to see if Buck, which I know who we can't see him, but hopefully we can hear him.
I'm here.
Okay, good.
Yay.
Oh, that's great. I don't know. I think you sent there was some sort of way that either you're on Restream and you're able to hook up to this stream.
I have no idea. All I know is I've shared some of my information, so now you guys have access to my channels and are streaming on there as well.
Okay.
So,
I'm so selling your firstborn.
Bet.
So, good. All right. So I'm sorry we're not seeing Buck, but he's there, and we do appreciate him joining us for the live stream in voice, if not in video. So
I'm looming over you like a ghost.
Buck, do you have any experience with the HPA guns?
I have a little bit. I actually I built my very first HPA tap this year. I can say they're occasionally a little bit miserable and sometimes a little bit finicky to work with, but they're interesting to say the very least.
Well, before we move on to another topic, do you have anything to add about jewel creep and the things you've learned from working on HPA guns?
Best thing I can essentially say for those of you out there that are wondering why we're switching to FPS from jewels is HPA, we have a standardization. We've got a lot of pressure coming behind our guns, and we don't really have the fall off that FPS does for things like AEGs and DSG systems. So we're pretty much there with the jewel system because we hit a little harder sometimes, but it's just to kind of make a standardization so the people that have the AEGs that have the drop off have that little bit of extra leeway that we don't quite get. So it brings everything up to a standard of, oh, we're going to be able to shoot you from about 100 yards. You're only going to hit with about 50. So there's the balance and trade-off.
And do you have any guidance as far as tournament locks for the regulators?
Most of the tournament locks that I've seen used, I've really only seen the amped regulators. Real easy to get your hands on. Amp sells them for like $5. If you've got the Storm regular category 5 or any of the Storm series, you don't need a tournament lock. What we do is we will just wrap a zip tie around the side of it because we don't really have the way to stick it on there. So if you have category 5s or any of those types, just check and make sure. If you do have the amp line or something that was made by Polish Star, I believe, you can get a regulator lock so you don't screw with it. It's to ensure that we can see that you are not messing with your regulator after you go to chrono. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
That's as soon as you leave the field, take it off. That's your discretion. If you're HPA and you're just new to it, we're not tampering with your gun. We're just making sure you don't hurt people. That's all.
Got it. Great. Very good. Very good. So, moving on to our next topic, we've got, something that I'm certainly involved with, the zombie game. And we were talking about how I wanted to get back for the zombie game to much more traditional roots of gameplay with that, and really encourage folks that this is really a low FPS, a low gear kind of game, where I'm really encouraging folks to come out with springers and pump shotguns, and it is far more fun to be bringing that out. That's why we're restricting it's a semi-only game. Electric, HPA, and SMGs won't be allowed. So it's a very restricted game, and the thing is, it's only going to be in the morning on Sunday if you're going to be staying for that. For the rest of the day, it's going to be just a regular airsoft game. So use the same AEG or tapped gun that you were using for Bad Blood for the rest of the day. So it's just the morning zombie game that's going to have that very high restriction on the type of guns that you can, or replicas you can use. It's just gas blowback pistols, Springer rifles, Springer pistols, and Springer shotguns. That's it. So
quick side note before you run off for that. For those of you that are going on for the zombie game, do not get discouraged if you guys get bit early on. It's still a heck of a lot of fun. And if you guys know Joker, and he comes on every year, has been for a while, he's going to run into that head first. You're going to get a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. Don't walk off the field. I promise you, even if you get turned quick, it's worth your while to stay.
Yeah. And if you don't have any of those type of replicas, you're going to have a lot of fun if you want to just volunteer to be a zombie from the start. There's a lot of guys for last year who signed up for that, and they just came back with smiles on their faces. So please consider that. It certainly is as a fun event. Okay, so this year, no static spawns, and in previous years, your starting point was also a respawn point. This year, we're not doing that. We're adding a second mobile respawn, which we call the triage. So each faction is going to get 2 of them, and typically they're not in the same place because that really makes moot the point of having 2 of them. You
have to account for there are going to be certain teams that's how they're going to roll.
Yeah, true.
There will be teams who are running 250 men deep at all times. So, they're going to use their
Marxist.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to use their second embed for other things, God knows what, but they'll have one manning a triage and one rallying the troops or whatever. But yeah, for the teams that like to maybe split up a little bit, hey, there's Buck. For teams that like to split up.
Okay, I was able to add that. I don't know how I was just trying the different views because I was realizing my big face is on there and I'm not giving you guys enough screen time.
I think the big thing that people need to wrap around their heads from previous events was, with the lack of a static respawn, the idea of small cells and lone wolves is just out. It can't be done. Not like it should be ever, but it can't be done because you're going to have no way to respawn until you find your whole team because there's no more static respawn. So you have to stay with your crew at all times, or at least with an embed who is maybe heading up a larger force at all times. Because if you get separated, you're gonna have to get on the radio, find out where everybody is, and rejoin. You can't just go back to your starting spot, count to 10, and you're back. It doesn't work like that anymore.
All right. So I'm trying. I think I managed to get Ian full screen while he was talking.
Yeah,
so
that was,
Yeah, you did.
That was weird. Let's not do that again.
Too much ugly.
Well,
We've got a couple questions coming in from Facebook.
Oh, good.
About the zombie game, the player packet only says no AEG, CO2, or HPA guns. Are green gas shotguns included?
Yes.
I didn't know there was such a thing, but
They're, they're very
And-
rare, but I had one at the
I've
time.
got one.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it leaks like crazy, but
They're getting better. I can say that they are getting significantly better.
okay. Well, you know what? I'll check it out, and I'll let the Chrono guys who are running that on Sunday morning, I make the final call on that. But as long as it preliminary, I'd have to say, as long as it meets up with the our dual restrictions, and I'm not sure how to measure that. If it is a green gas shotgun that shoots multiples?
Yes, it's the best one to look up is the Jagarm Scattergun. If you guys are rocking with the any of the automatic ones, I would definitely say no, don't bring it on the field. Don't waste your time.
Which are the
There's-
automatic? They shoot.
There's a couple of them that are out there right now that are shooting automatic.
Oh yeah, A12, and
Yep.
yeah, there's a few out there.
There's a couple, not many, but if you're asking about those ones specifically, no, don't bring them. But if
Those
it's like
are
the
AEG.
Jagarms, yeah, if you're bringing the Jagarm Scattergun, I don't see how that would be an issue of any kind. I've got one myself. I know the thing doesn't hit very hard, so I wouldn't see an issue with it personally.
And our chronos are good enough that they'll be able to determine if if a burst goes through it, it'll average.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to chrono even burst shotguns effectively. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Okay.
We have another question about sleeveless shirts.
Oh,
I would
okay.
just like to say, at your own risk. There are going to be ticks, there's going to be thorns. My advice, cover up as best you can. You usually get pretty cut up through the thorns, bushwhacking. This is deer country. There are going to be ticks. You got to pick them all off. I try to cover up every part of my skin every time I'm there, and I have never picked a tick off of myself.
I've been coming since 2017. I have never found a tick on me once. I've seen guys go out there shirtless and come back with like one or two, but it's
only one, only two.
only one or two.
If heat is your motivation for going sleeveless, I recommend dumping gear before I would dump sleeves. That's me.
Do so at your own comfortability, I guess.
I would also say, unless you got really nice arms, then we all want to see
Sun's
them.
out, guns
Yeah.
out.
Throw out those guns.
But I mean, there's no restriction to it. It's like the guys have been saying. It's at your own risk. If you get peppered and you end up looking like Joker does at the end of the zombie game, that's on you. It's not our fault. So.
All right. But so yeah, I'll echo that. Again, it's personal preference. Some folks would rather not deal with the heat and wear a t-shirt, but I agree with everybody out there. Whenever I played, I would cover up like crazy and deet everything. So yeah.
Well, we just got a Facebook comment that the best thing right now is permethrin.
Yeah.
Do permethrin on your stuff a week before, let it dry out, and you're good for 6 or 7 washes of your gear. So,
which always makes me a little concerned about
but you know what? It works. I've been doing it ever since I discovered it on all of our Vietnam gear, and we play in much gnarlier environments than EMR, and never had a problem. So yeah, just permethrin. If you're going to use DEET, just be careful of any rubber. 100% DEET will melt rubber.
Same with permethrin too.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you got it in the big jars. I mean, the big jugs, right?
Yeah, the big old pump spray
Mhm.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hopefully that answers your question about the um, the shirts. So, getting back to the triage, we're gonna since we're gonna have two, we're gonna be a little more mindful, and I'll talk to when we do the embed briefing that we don't want to have any of the triages uh, inside any of the structures for one thing, and
Right.
they have to monitor where they are, make sure that they're not covering up. Because you're not supposed to be shooting at the triage. So if the triage is too close to, say, a stamp or an enemy CO, you're effectively shielding anybody from that objective. So whoever is managing the triage needs to be mindful of those.
That also brings in, when I evict people from the castle.
Mhm,
So when
absolutely.
your faction does take the castle, and you want to get people up on the walls for the 10-15 minutes that I'll allow you to be in there, fine. But your embed cannot establish the triage inside the castle. You gotta leave the structure. So like when Moondog says not inside structures, that doesn't mean not under the bridges. It means the whole thing, the whole what is the thing, like 50 by 50 or something like that? The whole
Yeah,
structure
yeah.
cannot be in it and establish a triage inside.
So actually, I'd like to get your input, Tex and Doc, since you're your actual faction command. Um, you should generally you shouldn't have to manage the placement of your triage other in that sort of detail, but you'll at least be communicating with your embeds and letting them know that this is where we're going next. You can tell them, okay, let's move the triage over there because we're going to be. You shouldn't use the triage to clear the way in front of you. Obviously, you want to keep it close enough to your front that uh, that I mean close enough to you that you know where it is, but you shouldn't have the triage anywhere near your front. Yeah. So just your thoughts on how you saw what are your thoughts on how you saw the triages managed in past events?
I'll go.
Well,
Sorry, go ahead, Doc.
go ahead, Tax. You go ahead.
So
Text.
last year I thought our mobile triage did a really nice job of being fair, but also being just right near the action to keep us in the action. So we were about maybe 100 yards off of where the front line was, which I believe is what the rule is, something like that. And it allowed us to stay in the fight longer and made it for a better game, really.
Doc, you wanna try any thoughts?
I agree with them. It's from my past experience with the mobile triage. It's moving it along. Amanda, who was a personal friend of mine, she was the one that was the mobile triage last year. She moved pretty nice. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out with two of them, and everybody having one or having two of them, and how they utilize them this year.
I kind of feel like we've had mobile triages in multiples in the past.
We have.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
2018, I believe, was the last one, if I'm not mistaken. And now my camera is dead. That's odd.
Yeah, because Buck's right about 2018 because previous to that was our old venue, and we never even came up with the idea of static anything.
Yeah,
It was always
it's always mobile.
a constant movement. But yeah, no, we've had two for a while, but depends on how the teams have always utilized it. Sometimes one was enough. But like what makes it good? But we also, up until we moved to EMR, didn't really give the option for teams to split up. Right? It was always in the rule book as a mobile mass of people. It wasn't until we moved to EMR where we said, you know what, this field has got a different terrain to it that could really let's explore it.
And
So
like
that's when we
twice as
started.
big. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. So we started to allow teams to split up at their own discretion, knowing full well that respawning was going to be an issue that they need to be aware of. and it adapted well. So if teams now want to break up into, I'm not telling anybody how to do their job, they're running their team, but if teams want to break up into two smaller groups of 120 people and 120 people, not only are you, and we have more stamp collectors, we only used to only have one. So now that we have more stamp collectors as well, you effectively can be two fully functioning teams at all times. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is a bit of a this will be a bit of an experiment in we may find, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm always favored one, is that with two triages you have, and sometimes we'll create more choke points because those are no-go areas, and so if you have the more triages, the trickier it is. So but we'll find out how things go, and of course we're always very flexible. We always and we have a very in-depth post-game analysis, after action reports from everybody, so we make changes every year to try to improve how the game flows.
Yeah.
I will say, oh, go ahead.
No, please.
I was going to say that year, the year that I saw it worked the best so far with the two triage was the first year I was on staff. It was myself and Sam Adams when he was running Green Team, and there was one other embed. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but I try. We ended up splitting the teams off, the team off the start X of the game, and we went to two separate sides of the map, completely split it. Myself and Sam took one noodle, the other guy took the other noodle, and we just sent it. We met in the middle at the castle, and it was chaos the whole day.
Yeah, it sounds great.
What year was that?
That was I think that was 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
I remember that.
We did a lot of damage that year.
I'm hoping a lot of the teams take that mindset and try it out. We kind of already know that Marxists won't, but that's fine because that's what makes them such killers. You know what I mean? Like
Norwell Black. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
no, we won't. We will storm through like a freaking cloud of death.
It's really going to allow us to explore and maybe see parts of the field that they've never gotten to. Because, like, okay, well, I've been doing this like Buck's case. I've been at this same field for the last 6 years. I know where everything is. Okay, great. That doesn't mean the samples are always going to be in those spots, but they tend to kind of favor areas, right? So you kind of know where things are going to be. Well, hopefully, if any of the tribals are listening, they're not going to do that this year. They're going to try and find some more difficult, off the beaten path and not the same old stuff every single year. And it's going to force the teams to really explore as much as they can possibly explore, because EMR is huge and we use a lot of that field, but there's still a lot of it we don't touch. There's a lot of jungle down in the southeastern side, but there's some cool stuff out there. Maybe some team's going to go for it and bushwhack through it and see what they can find this year. It's going to be great.
Tribal, that's not an invitation to go into the valley. Please keep them out of there.
Well, yeah. So, but the valley, if you do find yourself in the valley, that's a good point. We will have water. We will do our best to make sure, we get any casualties out of there as fast as humanly possible. And we just keep on keeping on, right?
Yeah.
That valley is the reason why we suggest wearing boots. Please don't take that lightly. If you're going down there and you have sneakers on, turn around.
Here, I'm going to see if I can share the screen here. I'm going to bring up the map.
I think everybody's just looking at my mug. So
currently,
but let's see if I can.
You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very handsome.
Didn't your mother teach you never to lie?
Hey.
Okay, let's see if this unable to share scene. It says update system permissions. Okay, all right.
That's okay.
Fair enough.
It's in the player packet that everybody should have read.
So concerning that, we will have. I'm just counting. If you guys are following along with your player packet, which would be a good idea, we're going to have 7 water stations. Well, 7 including the fixed one, which is right next to the stage, back at the registration area. So we're going to have 6 in field, which is 2 more than we had previously. And they're going to make a much more thorough reconnoiter of each of them as they drain out the jugs, the igloo jugs that you could refill your canteens in. And if you find that the canteen, the jugs, the igloo jugs where your is getting low, where you're refilling, please let an embed know so that they can relay back to the EMR staff that a water area is getting low, and they'll send the quad their quad out with and refill that. So we're definitely going to make a more concerted effort to address that this year. All right, got the water stations. We talked about that. Uniforms and wristbands. So this year we're going back to something we tried a couple of years ago. We're going to actually have different colored or patterned wristbands for each of the factions, and this is to address an issue that kind of crept up a little bit last year with players buying tickets for a faction that was that they didn't intend to actually play on. So as we unfortunately we couldn't add him on here. He was having technical issues, but Anthony Sasso is going to be there to inspect everybody at the chrono line to make sure that their wristbands match their uniforms when on game day. So we're going to make sure that you're dressing properly. So 99% of you out there are not going to be that kind of asshat who's doing that, but we want to make sure that that option doesn't even creep in your head for the folks coming out. And for this year, we are not having a night game. In previous years, we added that because we had extra staff who volunteered to take that on. But
I'm sorry.
and no, nothing on you. That it's a lot of work. But we do what we can on the times we can add those. This year, we're not going to do it. Just a lot of stuff to get done.
You're still getting plenty of game for the price tag, so don't feel like, oh, no night game, it's not worth it. It's you're still getting plenty out of it. So you don't have the mindset that if I can't play a night game, then it's not worth it for me to be there the whole weekend. Well, okay.
How many staff do we need for a night game? I mean,
I think the idea was just fully quashed by Timmy. As soon as we didn't really we said, okay, we didn't have the staff for it. He's like, you know what, then we're just not going to do it. So field management says no night game, no night game. Nothing personal. Just how he wants it.
But there's an opportunity to try to work on it ahead of time for next year. But for right now, let's just concentrate on the day game. You're gonna have plenty of play time. All right, so I think we covered all of the new changes, and of course we'll cover more details on the rules. And if you have any questions, you can post them before next week's, and we'll tee those up for next week's and maybe go into more details of the rules. But in the meantime, and I've got we've still got a few more minutes left on this live stream. What I want to do right now is actually take a little sideways and see if I can get this share screen up here, because last week I announced that I would be giving away, and Bad Blood is legendary for its for the giveaways that we do at the end of the year. So, but to try to try to give you a preview of that before the game day, I've been giving away something every week through my new channel Moondog Go, which I'll be posting up all of the videos for the event on that new channel of mine. So to try to encourage subscribers and everybody tune into to my new channel. It's youtube.com/@moondoggo. I'm giving away a prize every week to everybody who subscribes to that channel and sends me a screenshot to prove that they've subscribed. And you can find all the details at moondogindustries.com/contest. So last week I announced that I would be giving away a Monstrum Tracer laser and EDC light. Oh, sorry for those epileptic guys out there, folks. But anyway, so a brand new EDC light is coming your way to those of you who enter the contest. I'm going to try to see if I can spin the wheel right now. So bear with me here. Let's see if this works. Can you see the wheel?
Barely.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to click this and we'll see who wins.
No whammies.
Are we barred from joining these contests?
No,
Oh.
no, you can. So Mark
No.
Thomas,
No,
congratulations.
he'll win, so no.
So I'll be sending you. I'll be contacting you, and now I got to figure out how to get this back. To can you see me again?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So congratulations, Mark Thomas. I'll be contacting you, making sure that I have your mail to address. So make sure that you send me, everybody who enters sends me a correct mail to address. Monstrum will be shipping you out a brand new Tracer EDC light, and let me know which color, because I know they come in a couple of different colors, OD and gray, and aside from black. So I'll contact you and find out which color.
I'm confused. Is that a handheld light? Does it mount? What is it?
It's a handheld light with a clip. It also is magnetic, so you can. Well, see if I can. Well, it's got a magnetic base, so you can. I don't know if you can see that. It was sticking on.
All right.
But, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it outputs 1,000 lumens, so pretty bright.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's going to be the contest for this week. So if you've already taken a screenshot that you've subscribed already, just save those screenshots, because that's your ticket to enter this week. And this week I'm giving away a new swag bag. This one from Arms Core. I picked this up over at SHOT Show, and in this you also get a Next Torch gunsmith pad and a Next Torch cap. So enter to win, and I'll be doing the drawing next week. So
That's
just
great.
just go to moondogindustries.com/contest for complete details on that. All right, so moving on, we're going to wrap up here, but it is Memorial Day weekend. It's a big weekend for everybody. I want to ask all of the everybody here tonight, what are your plans, and what do you got to be thankful for this Memorial Day? So let's start off with Ian here. I'll zoom you up.
Well, it's kind of bittersweet for me because tomorrow turns out is my stepmother's birthday, who died a year ago.
Oh, God bless.
So that's
Ow.
yeah, that's gonna be a little downer, but really just gonna stay close to home. You know, the city gets kind of crazy on holidays, so hit a couple parks with the kid, and that'll pretty much be it.
Sounds good. All right, Doc.
Family. Tomorrow, family. I got my kids. I have a daughter that's in marching band. She's in parade band, so we'll be in 2 of the parades tomorrow, and then
Nice.
off to my parents' house for a pool and some barbecue.
Oh, excellent. What instrument does she play?
Clarinet.
Oh, good. Not too heavy.
She's actually considering the Navy.
Oh,
So,
good for her. I meant that the clarinet. I played marimba in the marching band, and that fucker weighed 40 pounds. So, I hated parades.
I can imagine.
I always envied the clarinet and the flute players. All right.
Good luck to her.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank
to
you.
her. All right. Tex, you're up.
What's a marimba? It's like a tuba.
No, it's like a xylophone, but the keys are made of wood.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that you don't march with. It's usually you have it on legs and you play it in in the orchestra.
I don't. Yeah, I know that I've seen one in a march. Memorial Day's obviously for our country. Part of it, care of house stuff. To visit from Texas next weekend, so a lot of chores getting done, repainting the deck and the shed. But it's really, for me, a time to reflect with family. I'm really fortunate. I'm sure all of us have members that have been in the military somewhere along the line, but been real fortunate that have, never lost a close family member, but have lost a few friends. I'm in that age group of 9/11, and a lot of guys joined up right after that, and lost a couple guys there. So time to reflect about those guys. High school friends and college buddies that aren't coming home.
That's a good sentiment. All right, Buck.
To their memories, bud.
I am very much thankful for my team, my group of guys that I've been playing airsoft with for quite a while. I've got some new people that are joining in, that are service members. I'm very thankful for them. Very thankful for the business success that I've had with my wife's business and having the opportunity to start some other businesses, get some other things going, and following my passions this year. I'm very thankful for that. I'm going to be spending Memorial Day with some friends and with the wife, and that's going to be my Memorial Day.
Very good. I was going to hand it off to Cardelos, but I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm watching the fire. I figured you want to see that instead of my face.
Oh, no worries. I was okay. So you're up. What are you guys up to, and what do you got? Who are you remembering on Memorial Day?
For me, what I'm going to be up to tomorrow, my wife will be taking our 2.5-year-old to a Memorial Day party, and I'll be probably feeding and putting the newborn to sleep for a nap. I think I'm going to wake up at the butt crack of sunrise to go fish. It is striper season, and I got the bug the other week where I caught 2 nice fish.
Oh, nice. How heavy? How big?
The striper was probably 30 inches, and the blue fish was 33.
Very good.
And it was the first time I caught either one, so I was super stoked. And as far as memory goes, it's for all the family members of mine who have passed who served. My father, he was in the Army. My Uncle Joe was a Marine, and you know how Marines are. They're Marines for life, and you know it. And there's so many great memories with that, and it's been quite a few years since he's gone, so it'll be a day of moment to reflect on them. I've been lucky that all my friends that went over came home.
Very good. All right, and I'll wrap things up with our plans are pretty much to our staycation. My eldest daughter, if some of you remember her, barely walking or not, or in the crib or in the little carrier basket when we would started Bad Blood. I've always brought the kids over. She's actually graduating from junior high, going into high school now. So
my gosh,
we're her senior, or I guess the junior, the middle school dance is coming up on Tuesday. So we've been running back and forth to them all, trying out different clothes and exchanging things. So I'm sure I'm going to be asked to do to be the family Uber again, to even probably tonight to get some last minute accoutrements for that. And the graduation's this Friday. But for who I'm remembering is every year I remember my maternal grandfather. He was a Philippine scout for the U.S. Army, and he was there during in World War II, and he died during the Bataan Death March. One of the many who never came back, and we don't know where his body was. And it's always been my goal to go visit the Philippines and tour Bataan and just see what that area is like. Because even though I was born there, I left when I was a baby. I don't remember anything about much of the country there, but I always remember him, because if it wasn't for him and being in the Army, the death benefits for my grandmother and my mother, she would never have gone to college, never become a nurse, and had the ability to emigrate here with me. So yeah, I always remember him because I wouldn't be here. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, everybody. We are wrapping up. We're on time. We've got less than a minute.
Okay, no. It's an airsoft thing. We have to go overtime and be late.
Don't.
While we have this last minute, I would like to answer one of the questions of Facebook user, and it says Facebook user. So I'll have to go back into Facebook asking about how many staff do we need. If there are anybody who's interested in volunteering, we this whole game runs off of volunteers, because we donate I donate half of the proceeds to our charity. It's not a money making event. EVIC loses money on this every year, sending folks out and giving away tons of prizes. So this is really, we do this because we enjoy it, and so we're always looking for good folks who have good hearts and are really just out there to have fun, but also think it's important for the other players to have fun, play fairly, but for everybody to have fun. So if you're interested in volunteering, either even just at Chrono, we definitely would love to have you join the team. Reach out to me on Facebook, or you could find my contact page on my website at moondogindustries.com. Definitely reach out to me. We're always looking to add good folks to the team. All right, we are at the end of my first live stream. So thanks for bearing with me these technical difficulties. And again, I apologize to everybody else who weren't able to join us of the volunteer staff for that. We posted on Facebook, because I couldn't figure out how to add more folks. I still don't understand how we were able to add Buck, because it said a maximum of 5, but I guess maybe they meant 5 guests, including me. he hacked the system.
Yeah.
All right.
For our first time without expert help, I think we did all right.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week, and when I'll announce the winner of this prize and announce the next prize. And again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you when we see you. All right. Good night.
All right.